Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Drivers to meet with Formula One bosses over concerns from weekend's race. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix went ahead as planned despite a rocket attack, claimed by Houthi rebels, on an oil facility less than 10 miles from the circuit. During Friday's opening practice session, Formula One's drivers are set to meet with race bosses following the concerns which arose from the weekend's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. The race went ahead in the shadow of the rocket attack, claimed by Houthi rebels, on an oil facility less than 10 miles from the Jeddah circuit during Friday's practice session. Recommended 1/5 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix to continue as planned after attack at oil depot near Jeddah circuit. Read more. Recommended by a 4-hour meeting of the drivers on Friday night to discuss events eventually led to the Grand Prix continuing as planned, although several drivers expressed their reluctance about going ahead in those circumstances. Verstappen outduels Leclerc for dramatic Saudi GP win. Domenicali. No one can judge F1's morality. Did drivers change mind to race? Leaving Saudi after attack not right, F1 bosses defend decision to race. Formula One's organizers have assured drivers there will be further detail presented to them about what happened, promising they would not just move on to the next race without examining the events in Jeddah in more detail. The sports chief executive Stefano Domenicali and technical director Ross Brawn, plus the team principals of the sports constructors attended to speak with the drivers at different points throughout the lengthy Friday meeting too. Article continues below this advert. However, Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff insisted neither he nor his colleagues had attempted to pressure the drivers into racing when they spoke at the There wasn't any arm twisting from our side, there were good discussions, Wolff said following the race, which was won by Red Bull's Max Verstappen after a thrilling duel with Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc. When the team principals talked to the drivers, I think what we talked was sense and not at all any pressure, but maybe that was perceived in a different. In the end, the show and the spectacle were amazing and what we delivered as a sport was great, and this is what sport should do. Should Formula One be in Saudi Arabia? The inclusion of Saudi Arabia on the Formula One calendar has been controversial since it first appeared ahead of the 2021 season due to the country's record on human rights. Friday's rocket attack heightened concerns over the safety of the event too, and although the rest of the Grand Prix passed off without incident, there are still questions the drivers want answering. We had a lot of guarantees that of course, we would be safe, but I think after this weekend, all the drivers also together, we will speak with F1 and of course also the team bosses to see what's happening for the future, race winner Verstappen said. That was a view echoed by the reigning world champion's Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez. I think there's definitely some considerations that we will have to do as a group and see what's best for the sport going forwards, Perez said. Runner-up Leclerc and Ferrari teammate Carlos Sainz Jr., who finished third, both believe further discussions between the drivers and Formula One's bosses are needed too. It's definitely a discussion that we should have after this race, Leclerc said. Once everything calms down and we'll look back at it, and then well. Sainz added. I think there will need to be discussions after this race, because clearly what has happened in the last 24 hours is definitely a point of discussion and considerations that we need to take going into the future.